Hey, everybody! Welcome to Tavern Knights.
Yay! No, it's
Hello.
Tavern. It's
Or Tavern
actually
Talk. Tavern Talk. Man, I got it right for so many weeks, and now this one I messed it up.
It's all right. We're gaming on Friday. We know you've got it on the brain. You're ready to
Hell
go.
yeah, I do. I can't wait.
We're all ready to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm actually going to make you guys a little smaller here so I can fit everybody in the frame here.
I am also ready to go and will be there on Friday. It turns out.
Oh, you will?
I will not have to go to, unless something fucked up happens in the next 2 days, I will not have to go to Indianapolis for the Indy 500.
Awesome.
I'll be at our game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great news.
I will be missing the following one. But
Right. So, yeah, we'll have 2 people gone. The following one, we'll have only 1 person gone this week then, which is good. We can deal with one.
Exactly.
Renee's doing her shadow monk thing right now.
Right
What?
now.
Yeah, well, you look like you're in the shadows.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot to put on the lights.
It's okay.
I mean, I can fix it. It's just it's over there.
Yeah, I'm doing my ranger thing, summoning animals.
I'm just a goddamn mess because I have been working every day for a week now. So
I feel ya. I get 1 day off this week.
So I guess that's actually a question, Russ, because you have been working so much. Are you going to be late for the game on Friday?
no, I'm not even working that.
Oh, okay. You've been working so much. You're like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm off.
Well, the studio is actually closed. We're taking a long weekend for Memorial Day weekend. So,
Okay, that's cool.
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So but yeah, I mean, we probably actually won't even be. We probably won't have anybody there on Thursday either. So it'll be a nice 5 days.
Oh, nice.
That'll be enjoyable. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we move right into production on. The sculptors will be moving right into production on Thanksgiving and the stuff coming up. I'll be getting stuff together for the Cherry Fest because they won't have anything for me to paint right away. So I'll be taking care of that. And yeah, so we're balls out, like heavy duty production pretty early for us. I mean, we'd be just getting started in mid-April and now coming close to with the end of May. We'd kind of be like, yeah, just warming up. No, now we're gonna be because balls out because we just got the final art for Pet Supplies Plus for our 3rd float, and that's 3 out of the 8 or 9 that we're gonna be making. So we gotta get started. So we got some great stuff. We made some really cool stuff for Indy though. We made some of the best props I've ever seen us make. We made a plane. We made an Indy car. And I can show you guys some pictures, but I can't put them up online yet because So, but yeah, pretty wild stuff, pretty great stuff. I'm
Cool.
exhausted though.
Cool. So not last Friday, but the Friday before, we played D&D. We played our Tavern Knights game, and let's just kind of go over what happened. So you guys had left the dungeon. You had left the dungeons of the Tower of War in Castle Greyhawk. You came back out. You met with the War Tower Wardens. While they were taking inventory, you had a meeting with them. And I think the meeting went well, considering how much you guys hated them.
They do nothing and they get 25% of my money and it's just so wrong.
But they do stuff. You found that out. They will send in rescue parties. They will do other things, and they keep all the nasty stuff in.
Right.
Sure.
Parties of orcs and giants and
Yeah.
I would like to know how
a dragon.
keep all that shit out. How these guys got past them. Unless that dragon and that general had another entry into that tower that we don't know about. How did they get past the sentinels? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Especially since we followed footprints through the front door.
Fucking A right. Somebody got paid off.
You guys questioned them about it, and
we have a
they said they had
special
no
guest.
idea. Oh,
We have
special
a
guest.
special guest tonight.
Trevor. He was on last show,
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor's on most shows because
He's
his cuddle quota has not been met.
Because he's a needy little pup.
Right. He's something all
You
right.
could have said it.
He's a bastard. So yeah,
I was gonna call
I
him a bitch. That's more of an insult. A boy dog.
want to know.
Do you mind?
He's like, nope, I'm gonna give you kisses, Mom.
Hey, you don't know. I mean, maybe he identifies as a bitch.
This is true.
Maybe he does.
It's 2021. It's 2022. You never know.
No, you never know. Excuse me for shoveling peanuts in my face because I'm starving.
I don't know that there's a show that you don't eat on, Russ.
What?
I usually don't eat on our Nerds with Alcohol show. I usually drink.
Well, you have eaten on there quite a bit.
I have in fact. People are like, "Don't eat on your podcast." Fuck you.
Well,
hey, if it's good enough for Critical Role, it's good enough for us. The early episodes of Critical Role, that's all they did was eat.
I ate constantly. Yeah.
well, it was a real. That's a real game. Is you're
Absolutely.
constantly snacking. You're drinking. You're snacking. You're just. That's what a real D&D game is.
Well, we generally snack on Tavern Nights.
And
I
then
still say
I don't.
no.
I
you
have a
don't,
lot to
but
say.
The rest of us do.
Yeah.
that means we need to get some Mountain Dew, some Jolt, and some
Jolt.
cheesy
Oh.
beefs and Doritos.
Yeah, I had said pizza, but Renee come up with a kibosh on pizza.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay.
I love pizza.
Jolt
Ew.
though, that's do they make that anymore even?
They turned it into an energy drink, actually.
I bet you we can find it.
They did for a minute. They brought it back
Or
for
like-
a minute. About 5
Yeah.
years ago.
Or Surge?
Yeah.
No, Jolt,
sorry.
that was a
Jolt
thing
Cola
for a
was
while.
the big one for gamers
Really?
back in the 80s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Surge
And
was
Jolt
the
and Mountain
90s.
Dew.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yes, you can get Jolt at Dollar General, Casey's General Store, and on Amazon.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Somebody's gonna have to get Amazon to send us a case of.
Well, there's a
Jolt
Dollar
and-
General right down the street.
Yeah, but it's probably not available in all Dollar Generals because I think I would have seen it.
Maybe you can get them to sponsor us because it's always Monster energy drinks for everything nowadays.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can't do energy drinks.
I used to, but
I'll stick
you know,
to the
I stopped. a while ago.
non-sponsored soda pop. So
Yeah.
so
So anyway, so
get back to it.
you came out of the dungeon. You talked with them. You had a good meeting. They even said that they were impressed by what you'd done and what you had found, and said that if you ever wanted to, I mean, you could join the Wardens if you wanted.
No.
Yeah, I can fuck right off.
Although, I mean, we could just get paid for doing nothing, which is pretty awesome.
Maybe when we retire, we can just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're War Tower Wardens. Just keep sending us money.
Yeah.
I'm out in the woods somewhere. You'll never see me. I'll just show up occasionally for my money.
Yeah, another like
Yep.
fleecing the adventurers that risk their lives to
It's
go
not
into the
fleecing.
tower.
You're supporting their
Mhm.
What we need to do is
you're supporting them for the protection that they give.
we need
Yeah.
to enter another agreement for like 10% of the profits after a certain period of time, like what we have with the
Wave Echo.
Wave Echo Cave. Yeah. Once that's up and running, we have a steady stream of income in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so you wound up leaving there. You spent the night there. They recognized the sword, the Blade of Chaos,
They did. They didn't charge us for it, thankfully.
and yeah, they did not charge you for it with the
Yeah.
with the understanding that you were returning it to Rickard,
Mhm.
the owner of the Green Dragon Inn, Rickard Damaris.
Mhm.
And when you said you were, they said, okay, then that doesn't count. We're not going to charge you for that. Because that would have been about 25,000 gold right there.
Whoa. Well,
Yeah.
as soon as they noticed it, I think we all jumped in at the exact same time as saying, we are here to get that and deliver it to someone that hired us to return it. It is not something that we are keeping. We made sure that we are very clear on that particular item.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it's true. We weren't paid like a monetary amount. We're basically paid in free booze.
Yep.
It's going to be a monetary amount after a couple hundred years.
Well, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for two of the party members, it's going to be quite a significant monetary amount.
Rickard's descendants are still going to be serving Grimbolt.
And Klimbrum.
And Clem, that's right.
Glimbrum's really young for a dwarf. I mean, she's got a good 400 years to drink.
Yeah. Yeah, she's only 30.
Yeah. And even Asimar, I mean, although we don't have like hundreds of years, they do tend to live a bit longer than normal humans. I think that's like 120 or something like that.
Do they?
I think that was what it was when I read it. It was slight enhanced lifespan, but I could be mistaken. Speaking of, before we go too much further, I did pick up the new Mordenkainen's guide to the multiverse.
I did too.
The multiverse or something.
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
I got it on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Still, one of the advantages of having a girlfriend that works at a bookstore. She picked it up for me.
Asimar lived to be about 160.
Oh, 160. Okay, there we go.
About twice as long as a human.
Yeah. I was, and that being said, Merrick Harris is very young. I was enjoying the book, but at the same time,
yeah, we're gonna get into that later.
Okay.
So let's finish the recap, and then because I want to talk about that book later, because Bob and I have been talking about it quite a bit.
Okay, cool.
So the you guys finished there, went back to Greyhawk, returned the sword, had some drinks. People wanted to hear your stories. You actually ran into a lot of adventurer types in the pub.
Yeah, they got crap ton. They're filled with adventurers.
Yep. You went back to the Barge Inn because you decided you were going to be staying at the Green Dragon Inn now. So you went back to the Barge Inn to get your stuff,
right.
And Klimbrum had a package waiting for her.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
It was
fucked.
It was a bunch of broken pieces of iron, kind of curved pieces of iron, and a note.
What's in the box?
And a note that looked like it was written in blood.
Yeah.
That basically said,
It was.
We'll see you again soon. Sweet dreams or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Don't you have it? Wasn't it actually printed out?
But she burned it, so I took it away.
Is this it?
Oh.
Yeah. Sleep well, dearie.
Yeah, sleep well, dearie. That's it.
Oh, so it was like in a condescending tone.
Yeah.
Well,
I believe this this belongs to you. Wanted to deliver it in person, but we will meet again soon. You can be sure of that. Sleep well, dearie. Yeah.
I didn't call you out by name, though, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but the package was addressed to Klimbrum.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it was. It was specifically addressed to me.
Well, it was dropped off for you. The I forget his name, but the owner of the Barge Inn basically said that it was for you, but it didn't have your name on it.
Oh, okay.
It was actually a description that was given.
You don't understand how happy that makes Grimbold.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I found the right stalking horses. They really pissed off the hags. They're gonna come after us instead of me having to chase them all the time.
Yep. How expensive and how hard will it be for me to get another set of Iron Bands Bolero? Shark attack.
You'll have to ask around and see what you can do. See what you can find.
Is that a one and done type thing? There's only one that exists in the entire world, or
no? It's a magic item. It's a
okay.
There's multiple ones that exist.
Is it uncommon? Common,
I don't. It's either uncommon or rare.
Okay.
Off.
Yeah, it's not like a legendary item, but it's, you know.
It is rare.
Okay.
Oh, that's still like really
Makes it-
rough.
It makes it
Oh,
more
ooh.
expensive and harder to find, but still not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, you went and saw Borislav. But you went to the awkward staff and saw Borislav Botev. And you gave him the book that he had asked you to find.
That's right.
Yep.
And that was when you also found out that there's a time limit on the library books.
Yeah,
Because he asked you how long it had been since you had gotten it, and you said it had been a day. And he's like, okay. And you asked why, and he said, well, it's only 7 days, and then it gets returned to the library.
Which we kind of like were questioning that to begin with, like, oh, we can just leave with these books, but
Mhm.
knowing this now, that puts us on a time crunch to do our own individual research.
correct.
Mhm. Yeah,
Which I
because
think
you
we
did.
have 5 days still left over after the initial research that we've done. Because
Yes.
I think that we've done like end of last game, it's been another day.
Yeah, so I think you've got 5 days left. You guys you had found the book you were looking for as well that Raslim had put you onto,
Yes.
saying that he thought there was information in there, and
Yangren,
the
393.
Ukraine Accord of 393. And so that has a bunch of info in it as well. It's basically like a little diary of Zagig. It's a bunch of notes and things like that.
Okay.
And so you found that you guys started researching it. You did find some info. I haven't given it to you yet because I'm waiting to see if you find the rest. It's gonna before the week is up. Once that's done, I've got a thing that I'm just gonna give you guys with all the info that you found. But
Okay.
you have
I
found.
think you mentioned a couple references essentially.
Yeah.
That we've had between Klim and Eucharia, what we've found so far with skimming through it that particular evening.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but yeah, and I think that was about it. You guys
No,
Nope.
we had two big other lore items that came about, where Octavian was able to scry on the drow.
That's right. Well, scry on the person that was talking to you from the skull through the skull, and
Which
he asked if you had met him
through not through scry, but through his commune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was communing, and he the questions he asked were if you had met him, if you guys had met this person before, and the answer was positive. And then he had asked if it was the one from at one point he asked if it was the one from the Kobold Caves.
Kobold Cave.
And the answer was positive.
Mm-hmm. But then that was, I think, even before we left the Castle Greyhawk, that we found that out, or as we were leaving.
No, it was after.
Okay. But when we got back to Greyhawk, that first evening, he actually did a scry on him as well.
Yes.
And was able to actually view him for a couple minutes and see that he was, I think, frustrated, and he had
a table with a bunch of papers on it. He could see that, but he couldn't read any of the papers.
Yeah, but we also know that he's in the general area at the same time. It sounds like he's within the Greyhawk limits.
He's at least close by.
Yeah. Well, he had said when he talked through the skull that he was closer to what you were looking for than you were.
Mm-hmm.
because he knows what you're looking for, because he's looking for the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he made you an offer.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Give me the two pieces. I'll give you your friends.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
We don't remember because we wanted to all flip him off.
Yeah, he's not going to get those pieces.
That's how we learned that he's the one who is responsible for Lauka and Phelan disappearances.
Yeah, well, he could be lying. Probably not, but I mean,
there's a chance, but how would he find out that we're down 2 members when we gain 2 members?
I mean, if we've had people tail us before.
Yeah,
that's true.
Don't do it.
But yeah, so
and then there's another big lore dump of my map. Ukraine's map of his. Where
that's right. Yes.
I'll be right back.
Between sharing it with Grimbolt and identifying the location, but also Octavian was able to cast legend lore and get a lot of background historical lore on the map itself who it pertains to.
Yeah, so you got a bunch of info on the map itself and then showed it to Grimbolt and he went, "Oh, I know where this is."
So now we know where it's at and what it actually possibly pertains to, which, you threw out the fact that I had to go back actually and rewatch the episode because you were throwing so much that I was only able to get certain keywords as I was taking notes in real time because there's so much going on there. I actually stopped and was going through the episode to actually write down everything that you were throwing out on there between like the story behind it, that it was with Drell's Drellsna, whose mother was Tasha, whose mother was also another powerful fae, and that like it's very magical. It may have like a great treasure, but it also has great danger to it. We also know the location. I think you said the Vesvi Forest, which is a couple months northeast of where we're currently at in Greyhawk.
Northwest.
Northwest. Okay, you're right. Northwest.
I'm skipping a jump.
But yeah, it's the actual area. It's the Yaddle Mountains and the Vesvi Forest, which is where Grimbolt's from.
Now, surviving while you're in the Vesvi Forest is another thing.
Because that does border the lands of Ayuz to the north.
But it was a very old map, even though it did pretty much coincide with his current maps. There were certain markers on the map that I have that don't exist anymore, I think is what you mentioned, that it shows like ruins of citadels or areas that no longer exist.
It shows like town markers that Grimbolt doesn't recognize as being towns.
That just there's nothing there anymore, or are they just essentially ruins? Or
one of them he would have recognized as being ruins.
Okay.
The other one, the one farther north, he wouldn't have visited. Okay. So,
but where the big X is, essentially, there's nothing in particular that would stand out to Grimbolt that anything of significance is in that particular location, to his knowledge.
No, the closest thing to where that is that he would have recognized, and this isn't something we got into in there, but would have been a mountain called Igwilv's Horn.
Would he have known that by looking at that it was close to that particular location?
If it's the southern section, like he thinks it is, then that he would be able to identify that that's the general region of where Igwilv's Horn is. Which...
That's a bad place.
Yeah, it is.
That's a really, really bad place.
It is very, very avoided. It is considered very cursed.
Well, we have a map that says go here.
No, no, that is not what a map says. We have an eager little halfling wizard that says we need to go here.
Is there a big X on it that marks the spot?
Yes. On his map, yes, there is. Yeah.
You see the big X?
Oh no! Now we have to go.
So part of Yukarai's background is he's a hermit. He was found when he was essentially a toddler, barely able to remember like where he actually came from. We got a bit of a lore dump of my background even before Grimbolt actually joined our group, of like where I kind of came from regarding that. But when just before the party got all together, before our very first session, that's part of my background as a hermit, that I have what's called a discovery. And it's very open-ended, working with the DM to be able to find, you know, whatever it can be. It can be a particular item, it can be a story, it can be an artifact, or in this case, a map that goes to an unknown location. But it's part of your background, and you may be protecting it, you may be searching for it. And in this case, that's something that I've been searching for and trying to figure out for the last, I think from where we said that I left that cabin was a couple years ago.
It's been
all of us. So it's been like 3.5 years.
Yeah,
now.
3.5 years. Yep.
So I've been spending like the last 3.5 years, possibly more, looking at this map, trying to identify it, find its location, its secret and hidden meanings. And even after talking to Madeline one-on-one a number of sessions ago, she doesn't even know where it technically leads. So this, the last game was like the biggest leap in terms of my character background that we've had the entire game since we first started for me. So that's honestly why I actually chose that background as the hermit background, because I was really drawn to that idea of having like a discovery, this unknown like secret object or truth or whatever it could be that could add in a lot of like lore and story to the overall game arc.
It's a good background.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So
I'm always impressed. I'm impressed with Pete, your attention to detail and your ability to really lean into your character shit, man. That's really
I appreciate
impressive.
that.
No, really, because I mean, I can't tell you how many times over the years. I mean, it's one of the things that a lot of people credit, like shows like Critical Role and Adventure Zone and some of these other D&D games, where the people playing the game just really get into their character. And I think it's something that you've done, because I mean, over the years, I've played a lot of D&D games where instead of speaking for their character, the player just goes, my character says this, and they don't speak for the character. They just kind of direct it. And it's great to see people really
more of a
getting into their lore
instead of a first person.
Yeah.
Much so.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I really wanted with this game, was to have it be more, you guys are your characters when we're playing. Mm-hmm. When you're talking, you talk. It's the same thing like what Critical Role does when they're like, and they'll make some comment about something new, and they're like, and the other characters all go, what's that?
Yeah.
Well,
I think in the very beginning, like Renee, Rich, and I being the newbies, and you can even see it with Alex a little bit right now, that's how we were in the very beginning. We would say, like, my character does this. We're doing this. And it took, I don't know, probably like at least a good 6 months of playtime that we started slowly transitioning, instead of saying my character, that I do this. I'm interested in this. And then like enveloping that character and becoming that. And the way that Russ was just saying, like, what are you talking about? We don't know that. We don't have that bit of information.
Right. And that's also one of the reasons why when I talk to you when we're playing, I always try and talk to you as your character name, not as your real name. I try very hard to keep that. When I talk to you, Pete, I'm usually like, hey, Eucharia, what are you gonna do?
And I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that we all do.
Yeah, very much so.
It really brings it more real and pulling us into the game more. And it was a learning curve for us. And that was like the nice thing about seeing like Alex, that she's starting to get more comfortable as she's getting more and more experience in the role and becoming Halt, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She's still learning though that, and she forgets that she has things to add to her roll. Like she'll roll like, and she's like, oh, it's only a 7. Yeah, but you get to add this.
Yeah,
and this.
I literally do all the math for her. She'll eventually catch on.
Yeah.
The problem is the poor girl suffers from pretty bad ADHD and she's not medicated for it.
Yeah.
So that's why she's
Well,
always flipping through Pinterest.
That's not evident at all, Renee.
I know,
At all.
right?
Not even a little bit. I would never have known.
She's not the only one that's always doing other things while we're gaming, Russ.
On a tablet.
I don't know what you're fucking talking about.
I was watching one of the previous episodes. I was just watching it to make sure that it because I was backing up a bunch of our old episodes, and I was watching it to make sure that it transferred right. And there's one spot where you've got your tablet in your hand and you're doing the thing, and you can see that you're playing a game on the tablet.
On the tablet?
Yes.
On my drawing tablet?
It looked like it. Yeah, it was a good. It might have been your other tablet, but it was
my other tablet because I don't play games on my drawing my.
But it was like whatever. It was one of those like pattern games where you had a. It looked like the gem.
More
game.
Like Candy Crush?
It was more likely on my phone because I don't. Have
it was too big to be your phone.
It was probably not a game. It was probably like fucking around on some other thing on my tablet because I literally can't put games on my tablet. There's not enough room. I've got so many apps and so many other things. Like I can't put games on my tablet.
But then you create the alcohol logo in real time, like during one of the games.
I did.
Yeah,
actually.
I watched Russ draw the entire thing from start to finish during a game. It was awesome to watch.
I was watching and I was making. I've been kind of slowly drawing a picture of Mary Karras for the last few months, and then now I more or less finished it, and so now I'm kind of working on Climbrum.
Yeah, you had like a basic outline of Climbrum, which looks great, by the way.
Well, I'm still
You're going to get stuck down there.
I'm still getting used to drawing from scratch on my tablet. Like it's one thing to scan a drawing in and then ink it. It's another thing to actually draw from the beginning, you know. So it's a little weird. So I like my pencils. Yeah, I like my pencils and my paper, and it's a little weird. So,
well, and one of the things I want to do is, and I haven't done this, and I really need to work on it. Is one of the things I want to do is I actually do want to do create like a merch store, and we've got a great Nerds with Alcohol logo. We've got a great Tavern Knights logo, thanks to Pete.
Pete has merch.
I do have my own one T-shirt that I made. Yes.
Yes, and that's one of the things I want to do is I want to make like T-shirts and mugs and things like that with the logos on it, just to have it out there. If anybody wants it, great. If not, then then they don't get it. So it's just one of those things where it just means it's just one more thing out there. I just got to look into. I got to find the right place to do it, where we don't have to have like a minimum count or anything like that. So it was a huge lore dump and a lot of great RP, and we did also more recently, right at the end of the previous, not this last episode, episode before, we did jump up to level 9. Yes,
I think it is 9.
Yep. Level 9.
So that's pretty great. So that, and for those who aren't completely familiar with the rules, that is a big one because that is when your proficiency bonus goes up.
Yep. So it's +5 now.
4.
It's 4.
It's 4. So
still significant.
Yeah, so fucking A right it is. So that means all your saves go up, all of your attacks go up. Well, not all your saves, but I think just the ones
you're proficient in.
Proficient in, right. So your saves go up, your
Your proficient, just any skill you're proficient
Your
in,
skills
any
you're
tool.
proficient in, your weapon, your attack.
Yep.
So all that shit. So it's a big number 9 is a big fucking deal. We don't get another jump up in proficiency for quite a while, I believe.
Well,
isn't it like
I think
13?
it's like
13. I think 13 is the next one. Casters also got 5th level spells.
Yes, and
big, yes.
some of us who also don't get 5th level spells that get 3rd level spells get those. So which means
I can't remember what I got.
My smite's got a lot more powerful too. I get 2 3rd level spells.
So you get 3rd level spells now. What about Grim? Does he get? Because you can do certain spells. Do you get like a bump up in spell level as well?
I went a slightly different direction.
Yeah, you guys don't. You guys, that's going to come up next game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got faster.
That's right. Yeah, I was just looking that up. Yeah, you got
Faster.
unarmored movement improvement. So you got another 5 feet of movement.
Nice.
And don't you go up walls now?
That was a couple levels
I think
ago.
that was a previous one.
That was okay.
No, wait, hang
No,
on.
or
I
is
don't
it this
remember. It might be this one.
It is. You move along vertical surfaces and across liquids.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Without
liquid.
falling during it.
Remember,
That's
yeah.
right.
it's not
Lava.
just water. It's any liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
That
talking
You
about
have
that
the ability
last-
to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during your move.
Yep. As long as you can get across it in your move.
Oh my god. The fact that, like, if it's stem light and I can bamf and now I have, 45 feet of movement too?
Yep.
Oh,
But,
man.
But
No one
Octavian
can
and
run
I-
away.
But Octavian and Yukurai can use 5th level spells now, which Octavian took full advantage of in that last game, using Scry and Legend Lore, and So, Chris, there was that time that you were mentioning last time we were at our grandmother's at Oma's house for Mother's Day, that we were all talking, and then you came in the room and we all got silent.
And we all stopped. Yeah.
Because we were all talking about it. Was about talking about. I was working with Rich saying, I want Octavian to cast Legend Lore on my map, and I will front all the money to buy all the components, which was like not cheap at all. It was 450 gold worth of components, which 250 at least I think are like standard, and 200 is what another 200 worth of stuff can be is what's used up, and you have to buy more of, essentially. Consumed, yes, thank you. So we were planning on that, and we didn't want to tell you, so because we wanted to make sure that it was brought
We wanted
up,
to put you on the spot
sort of,
to see what you'd come up with.
if you had, I had a feeling that you already had it like worked out in the background, because it was like 6 months ago you were actually asking a little bit about the map and getting pictures of it again, so that way it was actually right around the time that Grim, now that I'm thinking about it, that Grim joined up in the game.
Yeah.
That you asked for a picture of it.
We also had a very small lore dump on Klimbrum. It was really subtle, but kind of a big one, of when she had her private conversation with the librarian, and her relaying all the info, but then Yukuraya getting permission to actually copy the circle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the librarian specifically asking Klimbrum if he was a trusted source, which I personally did not expect. I was full on in math mode, trying to work out what our shares were from Castle Greyhawk. And the first thing that popped into my head was, well, they sent him with me. Because I was not paying attention, because my bit was done and I was in full math mode. But yeah, it was a subtle drop.
Full math mode.
Full math mode.
I don't
I guess
even have a parcel map.
I guess I
of it.
didn't pick up on the fact that it was a lore dump per se, other than the fact that you're a very trusted source within the Temple of the Open Mind.
It was the handing
you're-
over a medallion and what the librarian called me.
I'll have to go back. I don't recall that particular.
It was subtle.
Well, and Euchariah wasn't there for it, so he doesn't know anyway.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, it was a private conversation.
Yeah, but like just we were obviously all there, like listening to it.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
No, she had gone in the other room to have a private conversation with them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, but like
That whole
Pete
passing of
heard
the
it.
medallion and everything, that was a private thing.
yeah, but like Pete heard it. Euchariah didn't.
yeah.
Well, so it's gonna be we're gonna be next episode seems to me like it's gonna be a like where to go next now kind of episode. So
Yeah, well, we need some people to sell all of our shit for us because it can't be me because I'm helping Euchariah copy the book for Rasla.
it sounds
Yeah.
like right.
And
It sounds like something that Halt should be doing while we are.
And that'll take like a week.
Yeah, what is Halt's like swindling skills? Like, how is he at
Persuasion.
persuasion and that? BTW, we need to print off new sheets for Halt
Oh,
because
okay.
we went up in level.
Yeah. Did Halt level up on the in the program?
She doesn't have access to it. We need to do it for her.
I say we give her an access to somebody's D&D Beyond, so it just does it all for her.
I mean, I know she rolled dice in that, but her sheets are still level 8.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
So-
know. I'm looking Halt up right now to see. No, Halt. Okay, Halt. It has been leveled up to level 9.
Okay, we just need to reprint off sheets.
Well, already then.
Just double checking. Yeah, 74 hit points.
Yeah, I think you had done it like in real time after we had leveled up.
Halt is pretty goddamn good at persuasion.
Awesome.
What,
Halt's
probably a
going to
plus
sell
9?
everything.
Yeah, +9 actually. Yeah.
But somebody from the main party is going to have to go with Halt because you've only known Halt for a week.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
are you all just
absolutely.
going to
They're not- I'm not putting-
hand him everything and be like,
Absolutely not.
He works
You won't
for
be able to carry it.
he works for a thieves guild.
Absolutely not. I was not suggesting that.
I'll probably go with Halt to keep him on the straight
Yeah.
and narrow.
But yeah,
Wasn't
Halt.
suggesting that he go by himself.
Well, that was kind of the original
It-
plan, Rex. Anticipating that you were going to be gone in the next 2 games as well.
I'm aware.
You were going to,
Yeah,
the pair of you
Shit.
were going to be going together.
right.
Yeah, there are 2 things that Halt has expertise in because of being a rogue. It's acrobatics and stealth. He has +12 in both of those now.
Yeah.
Wow. 12.
I mean, so does Rosalind.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man, I'd love to bring Rosalind into this campaign. It'd be
No.
so cool.
just as an NPC that we come
No. 50 fucking
No,
points.
we-
50
we-
fucking points with one hand
She
crossbow
would
shot.
single-handedly fuck us all up.
You know what
The
you
only person who stands a chance is Grimbolt.
Chris, what you need to do is the next time that Klimbrum goes into the pit, that
Put her up against Rosalind.
Yes, there you go.
Well,
But-
the problem is Rosalind is a hand crossbow expert.
Yeah, she.
okay.
If it was a hand-to-hand, Klimbrum would just obliterate her. The
Okay.
girl has no strength. She has a +0 to her strength.
well,
I-
you still use your dexterity if she ever attacked with a melee weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even with fist, you can use your dex.
Yeah, that is
The
true.
the difference though is that Klimbrum can cause real damage, whereas
One hit.
1 hit, yeah, 1 point.
1 point. 1 point. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where we are. That's where we're going to pick up. You guys
That
doing
would be
things.
funny though.
You will have some downtime if you're going to sell stuff off. So you'll have like a week's worth of downtime. So if there's anything you guys want to do in a week that we don't need to role play out, or if you do want to role play out something, let me know. If there's anything you want specific you want to do in that week, we can go over it. But I'd rather kind of move through it quickly if we can. I mean, like I said, if there's something you guys want to do, that's great. We can always role play stuff out, and we can just kind of talk about some things that are going on, because you're not spending 24/7 doing what you're doing. Like Marikaris and Halt will be back in the evenings,
Right.
type of thing. It's just they're spending most of their time for that week
Spending hours
Yeah.
selling shit, trying to
Yeah.
find a buyer, moving around to different shops, different booths, whatever in the market.
Yep. Talking to different
Oh.
people and things like that. Collectors.
Wheeling and dealing. I
Yep.
got a +7 in my persuasion.
Yeah, Halt's got a +9, so
The
Well,
the
Fuck her
other
then. It's still
the
pretty
other
good.
small lore dump that we had was we learned about bubbles.
Right. We did.
And that whole scenario of why Bubbles is not always just a bear,
And why Bubbles was named Bubbles.
and why Bubbles was named Bubbles, which is awesome. I thought it was going to be like some cutesy little story. No, she just waits for the bubbles to stop when she submerges them underwater.
She was a very patient bear.
Yeah,
Hey,
clearly.
the Dragon Guard. Didn't we give that up for as
Yep.
part of the payment to?
Yes.
To the, yeah. Okay. That way I
Yeah, so you guys
So
no
like
longer
a
have
dragon-
Dragon Guard.
It was a Dragon Guard, like 2 +1 swords and a +1 rapier, and we called it even, I think, with
Yeah,
Yeah.
two +1 short swords.
Okay.
We also really didn't owe a whole lot. Like it was only like 2,100 gold or
2,500.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know I have it
2,500
written
gold,
down.
but that's 25% of what we had or what
Yeah.
we earned, essentially. So we should still have, a fair amount to be able to
Yeah.
sell.
I was just going to wait till we actually sell everything for whatever the value of those items are, because I know there are going to be rolls that are going to have to be done. And then I will just give everybody their money, because I only want to do the math once. It's not particularly fast.
And you have to figure out too, like other things, like you guys got like 1,000 gold worth of diamond dust. That's a major magical component.
Oh, that's Octavian got all of that.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
all the diamond dust.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, because you got a bunch of gems, you got a bunch of
Yeah.
Anything can be used as spell components, like that's not being counted towards gold. That particular person, like Octavian, may have gotten it, but it's not going towards his share of it, because
Yeah.
that's going to be, save our ass eventually.
Yeah, I think that's restoration. Is diamond dust.
Yes. Restoration. Diamond
Greater
dust.
restoration,
Correct.
which apparently Eucharia needs a little bit more often than not.
Yes. 100 gold pieces worth of diamond dust for greater restoration. So that's 10 castings of greater restoration.
I believe you don't need it for lesser rest out, but you do need it for greater rest out.
Which greater is a 5th level spell that he just is able to start being able to do.
Yep.
Mhm.
Lesser resto. Yeah, there's nothing for lesser restoration.
Yeah, I think Marikaris can even do lesser, can't he?
Yeah, it's actually a like a prepared spell.
Yeah, it's a second level spell.
Yeah, it's a second
Because-
for there are certain spells that for clerics are a little higher, but for paladins we can actually cast them a little sooner, and Resto is one of them, I think.
Yeah. No, it's still a second level spell.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Something.
The lesser restoration can end one disease or blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Yeah.
Greater Greater Restoration can end charmed, petrified, a curse,
Curse. That's the big one right there.
a reduction to one target's ability scores,
Mm-hmm.
or an effect reducing the target's hit point maximum.
Yeah. The thing about curing curses, though, sometimes it's up to the discretion of the DM too, because curses can sometimes have story effect and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
depending on how the curse is and what it is.
Mhm.
But including a target's attunement to a cursed magic item.
right, greater restoration is just that. It fixes so much.
Yeah,
Lesser resto.
that was what they cast on Eucharia because of the robe of enfeeblement.
Right.
Mm.
Yep.
It
I have a
required
question.
it required greater resto. Yes.
Which we still have.
With Revivify, it says diamonds worth 300 gold pieces. Would diamond dust still work for that?
No.
Because
No.
diamond dust is actually just little diamonds.
No, it actually doesn't.
Okay.
Once it's turned
So
to
we have
dust,
to have
it's
actual-
you have to have an actual
Okay.
diamond. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Which I
Well,
think we have
it-
2 of those.
Which it doesn't have to be a diamond worth 300. It just needs to be diamonds worth up to 300.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You can have 560 gold. piece
Yeah,
diamonds.
yeah, but sometimes like we get like 3 diamonds worth 100 gold each. Those can
Yeah.
be used. It doesn't have to be a 300
Right.
gold worth of diamond.
That's another reason we just keep all gems. Besides it being really easy way to carry money.
A lot lighter way to carry money.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we always kept gems
'Cause-
anyway because our old friend Lauka needed like every gem imaginable.
She did.
So-
Sewn into her outfits.
Yeah, she likes
But-
to be paid in gems. So
But see, those you wouldn't get back if you needed them because she would probably fireball you if you tried to take some of
Yeah.
the gems
right.
off her drop.
That's why she never got diamonds, because we needed those motherfuckers.
And
Well, she got the 1 6-inch diamond and then had to give it up.
Had to give it up. She did not like that. I was just
No,
walking
she
around
didn't.
walking around like Flava Flav, fucking diamond on her chest. Like, no, sweetheart, you can't keep
But
that one.
to Lauka's credit, she legitimately paid the party
She
the
did.
value of those gems.
She totally fucking did. I gotta admit. So it's getting it's getting later. We were gonna fun.
Let's talk a little bit about the multiverse.
yeah.
Monsters of the Multiverse.
Yeah.
So Bob and I have been talking about it. They basically have redone all of the races in there, for the most part, and they've
these are
made
all-
them
these are all
so
the races.
generic
Yeah.
that I hate them.
These are all the races that do not appear in the player's handbook.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah.
what it is they've combined. They've now made Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes
Right.
and Volo's Guide to Monsters
Right.
as legends. Now they've put them in legend status,
If,
just
if you look,
like in Star Wars, they're legends.
if you look
now.
on D&D Beyond, those actually show up as outdated.
Yeah,
They're in its
Or-
own
or
separate little
discontinued,
category under
or-
sources. Yeah,
Mhm.
I
and
mean, you can still look at them.
yeah, because you own them,
Yeah,
but they're no longer selling them. So this is supposed to be the updated version of those, and they have made all of the races so generic in an attempt to
Homogenized.
homogenize everything that they've gone too far, I think.
Hmm.
And I do not plan on using that in my campaign. I plan on using the older stuff. If anyone wants to play something that's an odder race that I'm going to allow in the game, we're not going to use that.
Like a Triton or a Tabaxi or
Yeah, I haven't done Tabaxi
Thank you.
because Tabaxi don't really exist in Greyhawk. I'm going to introduce them eventually, maybe even next campaign, because they're going to come from like Hetmanaland. But yeah, any of those turtles, any of those those creatures. Yes, I'm not going to use what's in right now. I don't plan on using what's in the Monsters of the Multiverse because they're too homogenized. They're all the same.
like
all you're playing is a different look. All the
Okay.
every character is the same. Then you just have a different look.
They made it like a video game for character builder.
yeah. They took away any disadvantages any of those races had,
Hmm.
like sunlight
Well-
sensitivity or
Well, and
Or
a
even-
slower movement speed.
yeah, a slower movement speed. All creatures, no matter what size they are, move at 30 feet.
You see, I okay now. At the same time, they also took away a lot of the advantages too, because like
No,
you
they
were
didn't.
saying,
No, they didn't.
well, for movement they did, because like a centaur, 30 feet of movement, a Goliath, 30 feet of movement. I mean, these creatures are larger creatures, and I mean,
They're
move
still
faster,
medium.
move bigger, and not a Goliath. A Goliath, I think, is
No,
still
Goliath
counts.
is medium.
Goliath
and
medium.
and had 30 feet of movement.
Okay, well, I still feel like something that is a Goliath should have 35 feet, because they're fucking huge. They may be medium creatures, but they still, can stand 7 feet tall. Why not give them an extra step? The same thing with like I said, a centaur who's got just a bigger creature. I don't know. I thought, and at the same time, all of the smaller creatures like goblins, or there's fucking fairies in there too. 30 feet of movement. Should they have maybe 25? I mean, it's just
Well, dwarves and kobolds and goblins before that, the monster
Mhm.
thing had 25 feet of movement.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
right.
know. I'm not sure about goblins, but
goblins probably.
dwarves have a 25 feet of movement.
Yeah, gnomes have 25 feet of movement.
Yeah.
Halflings have 20. Halflings
Smaller
have 25
fucking
feet.
creatures. So I mean, a Goliath may not count as a large creature, but they're still a pretty goddamn big creature for a medium creature, and bugbears too. Bugbears get they can attack within 10 feet. They have a longer reach, but they don't have an extra 5 feet of movement. I don't know about that, man. For the most part, I got a kick out of the book, because even though after I got done looking through it, I realized I'm like, I mean, I guess I already have a lot of this information because I do have Volo's Guide to Monsters. But I was a little disappointed because it said monsters of the multiverse or creatures of the multiverse. I was expecting to see specific creatures that I maybe remembered from specific lands, like the Minotaurs of Kryn or the Kender, or just some of the things like that. Now they did have listings for a Minotaur, but it was more very general.
Just so you know, Russ, centaurs have a movement speed of 40.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
All right, so I could have swore, because I was looking at all of them. I was like, movement speeds are all 30. Why is this the same? But I must have missed that one. So, okay, great. I was a little bummed out that we didn't see more of the multiversal kind of stuff. But that might be coming out when they actually release the Spelljammer box set that's coming out later this year.
Well, and so some of the other stuff that was in there is like they've changed goblins.
Yeah.
They're now Fae.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fey blooded.
Yeah.
They're still considered goblinoid or humanoid or
Yeah,
whatever.
goblinoid. They're
But they have
goblinoids.
Fey blood.
Right. It said that they're considered humanoid but they're also considered goblinoid if the occasion calls for it or something like that.
Yeah, but they have the Fey.
But they have
trait.
Fey blood. Mm-hmm.
The Fae ancestry. You have advantage on saving throws to make to avoid or end the charmed condition on yourself.
I think so do hobgoblins, and I think also the
bugbears.
too.
Yeah.
And I know I saw an article that was talking about that the author of this obviously loves the Genasi because all of them have like crazy new stuff that makes them incredibly powerful.
I didn't, like I said, I just kind of gave it a cursory look through last night. I didn't read it in detail, but I don't know. Like, I'm not opposed to making things like, I don't like the fact that I'm kind of torn, because as an old school gamer, we talked about this on our other show, Chris, that that I hated the fact that they took away the things like the racial disadvantages and stuff that like with the drow and the orcs.
In this case,
like
the Kenku
or the Kenku.
The Kenku don't have to use their mimicry anymore to talk. They can talk normal.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
So the being cursed as a race gone.
Okay. So I just don't think that I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they were doing that, because a lot of games themselves, I mean, it's not like we ever, in every game that I've ever played, we are always like, oh, orcs are always evil. No, we always allowed the idea that maybe there were orcs that weren't evil, or
Yep.
at least weren't righteously horrible. Maybe they were all a little bestial, or they were all a little more angry, or whatever else. But
They got anger issues.
a little more violent. But we also allowed for the fact that, okay, physically they're all a bit stronger than your average human. They're all,
You guys met some good orcs.
Dumber. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So rarely did I encounter, in all the years I've been gaming, somebody that was like, no, fuck that. All drow are evil. All orcs are evil. All orcs are, a lot stronger and a lot dumber. I mean, just that there was always, the DMs I've always played with always allotted for the idea and the possibility of change, of different, of members of those races being outcasts or stand off from their individual, the stereotypes of their race. At the same time, not all humans are good guys.
No,
Not
they're
all
not.
elves were good guys either. There were some, we'd encounter righteous assholes that were elves and dwarves, so I was always kind of like, so I never liked that. At the same time, in this current kind of climate that we're dealing with the younger generations and the things that are going on politically, I understand why D&D is doing some of the things that they're doing, taking out the idea that an entire race could have a particular, a particular characteristic.
It's because
that-
they're what they're doing is they're trying to equate it to real life.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have never done that. And that's
Right.
something I don't understand that. And they're like that orcs have anything to do with any actual race. Well, there's only one fucking race that we have, and it's the human race. But any one ethnic group versus another, or that drow are any one ethnic group, that to me that doesn't make sense. They're a fucking fantasy race.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can. It's part of that knee-jerk kind of like reaction we're seeing from like, and I don't want to say, it's the term is overused a lot, the whole snowflake thing, but we're seeing it a lot with the kind of the younger generation as they're coming up and they're playing the game and stuff like they're seeing it. Present company excluded, of course, but they are. I mean, like the episode of Community, where one of the characters paints his face like a drow, and they make a joke about it being blackface. And he even says, this isn't blackface, I'm a drow elf, or whatever. They took that episode off of
the air.
Netflix.
Yep.
Like, I think it's
Off
still
Hulu.
on, I think it's off Hulu.
Yeah.
I think you can still see it on Amazon Prime if you buy the season and stuff like that. But I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous because it's one of the best episodes that they had. And now you can't watch it because people were like, "Oh, he's in blackface." No, he's not. No, he's not. He's in an elf character that happens to have dark skin and white hair. It's one of those examples where people are getting hypersensitive about things, and I think that it's one of those guys is like, guys, relax. It's a fantasy game. Just because that the drow elves have purple skin, because that's the thing. It's really more of a dark purple.
They always talk about it as being black.
It's black, but
it's always
it's always
whenever it's done in art, it's always done with purple tones.
Right. Yeah, it shines purple. So, and then there are no humans that have skin color that color. But because it's a dark-skinned race, then people are like, oh, well, you're associating it with the dark-skinned races in real life. Or the fact that quite often orcs are depicted in a tribal sense that people associate, well, if they're big and dumb and strong and they're of a tribal people, then you're going to associate that with other tribal people in real life, and it's completely ridiculous. I get why they're doing it. I don't agree with why they're doing it, but I get why they're doing it. And it's just, it's a little silly, but you know, that's the state of the things are now, man. People are a lot more sensitive to these kind of things. And it's just, yeah. And the nice thing about it, Chris, it's your game.
Yep.
And you don't have to use those rules if you don't want to. And it's the beauty of D&D. It's the beauty of all this. And we've talked about this before.
So
that that's the best thing about these rules is that they are malleable and that they are.
So just to go over some of the other stuff, like with the Genasi, all Genasi get 3 spells for free at 1st, 3rd, and 5th level.
3 spells?
Yep.
They start with a cantrip.
They start with a cantrip, then they get a more powerful spell, and then an even more powerful spell. So like the
at 3rd and 5th level.
Yeah, so like the Air Genasi, you're humanoid, you're medium or small. You choose the size when you start. Your walking speed, even if you're small, is 35 feet. You have dark vision of 60 feet. You have unending breath, so you can hold your breath indefinitely while not incapacitated. You have lightning resistance, and then you have mingle with the wind, which is shocking grasp as a cantrip. At 3rd level, you can cast Featherfall without requiring a material component, and at 5th, you can cast Levitate as a trait without requiring a material component.
And this is for Air Genasi.
This is for the Air Genasi, yep.
Okay. Now I noticed, and that's something else. They didn't the whole spell casting thing, the whole innate spell casting thing. They put that in other things too. That wasn't just the Genasi. There's a bunch of different things, like I think the Tritons and some of the other races. They're giving them a cantrip, and then at 3rd level a spell, and then at 5th level another spell that you can cast without the use of components. There's a bunch of them that got that. It wasn't just the Genasi.
Yeah, I'm looking at like if there's anything for
Yeah, I mean, I'm not debating about that stuff about the Genasi. They did seem to be got some fun stuff with them.
Yeah, the Earth Genasi get Blade Ward, Pass Without a Trace. Well, they only get the 2.
My book is in the other room, otherwise I'd pull it up. But I saw a bunch of other things like that. I was like, wow, this race gets a bunch of different.
The Water Genasi kind of got fucked. Is that they get Acid Splash, create or destroy water, and then Water Walk.
But don't they have water breathing too?
They can breathe water.
Air or water and water. Yeah, they're amphibious.
So they're amphibious. Yeah. So that's kind of a spell in itself.
It makes sense from an elemental aspect.
And their swimming speed is the same as their walking speed.
Yeah, but
they get all, like the Air Genasi get all the air-based spells. Water get all the water ones.
But the problem is there are no flaws or disadvantages to balance that out.
Yeah.
It's just all pluses.
Yeah, it's all pluses. There's no negatives anymore. It used to be if you got like a +2 to your strength, you might like if you're an orc, you get a +2 to your strength, but you get a -1 to your charisma and a -1 to your int or something like that to balance.
Dwarves used to get a negative to charisma.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just kind of made sense, Yeah.
I
mean, they counterbalanced it. Dwarves were always kind of known to be kind of honoring. So, and it doesn't necessarily mean all of them are, but it would give them a little bit of a negative. So, I always liked the fact that they had that there was a minus, that there was a flaw involved there. I mean, there was another thing too, like, I think it was back in 3rd edition. If you chose a race that was out of the ordinary, it sometimes would also slow your leveling up. So if you wanted to be a tiefling or an ASMR, you would level up slower.
Yeah, there was the level adjustments.
There was a level adjustment for it. Yeah, the same thing like
Drow had like a -3 or -4 level adjustment.
It was tough. It was hard to be a drow. I mean, same thing for like some of the more advanced. I think this was in 2nd edition, but there was some of the more advanced character classes. Like if you want to be a fighter, you'd level up, but if you want to be a paladin, it was harder to level up. Like, you'd level up at level 2 at 1,000 experience points, but for paladins it would be like 1,250 or something.
Yeah, they had the different experience level for per
the different
class. That was
caps,
was back up to second edition, I think.
That's all the way back to second edition. But so there was balances that way too. It was harder to level up. Yet at the same time, being a rogue, you'd level up faster. You could level up at 900 was your second level.
Holy shit! I didn't look at the hobgoblin traits, but I just did.
Yeah,
Fuck.
they totally.
I want to be a hobgoblin.
Changed the hobgoblins a lot. Yeah.
I mean,
Something about
your medium, your
friendship
walking speed is 30. You get dark vision. You have Fey ancestry, so you have advantage on saving throws to end charm.
Mhm.
You get Fey gift, which is you can use this trait to take the help action as a
the help
bonus action.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh,
The help
wow.
action.
And you do that so a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus.
Mhm.
You gain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Starting at third level, choose one of the options below each time you take the help action with this trait, which is hospitality. You and a creature you help each gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus your proficiency bonus. Passage, you and the creature you help each increase your walking speeds by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. Spite, until the start of your next turn, the first time the creature you help hits a target with an attack roll, that target has disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes within the next minute. And then Fortune of the Many. If you miss with an attack roll or fail an ability check or a saving throw, you can draw on your bonds of reciprocity to gain a bonus to the roll equal to the number of allies you can see within 30 feet of you. That seems really fucking complicated. Maximum bonus of +3. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
That was something I noticed too. Like there does seem to be like all of your special abilities are tied to your proficiency levels too. So like
that's because they're trying to. I think short rests are on their way out.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna tie abilities that were tied to short rests to the proficiency bonus per day instead of every short rest, which will kind of stop the warlocks from okay, I cast my 2 spells, I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
I can cast my 2 spells now, I'm gonna take another nap.
Okay.
Or like I think the Battle Master, their stuff is renewed on a short rest, or maybe not the Battle Master. I don't know. Some of the fighter stuff is also based on short rest.
My key points reset after a short rest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're I heard some, I haven't tracked it down yet, but they were, the one video I watched, they were saying something about short rests are on their way out.
Interesting. I don't know, man. I like the idea of the short rest because they're for healing and stuff like that. But
it's just regrouping.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think if they add, things like your key points being tied to your proficiency. Like if you only have 4 key points at that point, that's gonna really you're gonna have to be a lot more careful.
That one probably wouldn't be tied to. They would probably do something, if you meditate or something. They'll just call it something different, but it'll be the monk's short rest.
Yeah. Well, her key points are more like my smites. They're tied to. Like mine are tied to my spell casting slots for the paladin. So maybe they'll do it something like that, or maybe it'll be your proficiency plus your dex bonus or something like that. Whatever. So that's how many key points you have in a day. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Right now it's 1 per level.
Is it? So you have 9 per day now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's another good way right there. 9, okay, 1 per level. All right, fine. You get to level, 15. You got 15 fucking key points every 5. Holy shit, those things are badass. That's why, hence the term "dope monk shit," because
dope monk shit.
There's so many fucking things with those things. So all in all, Chris doesn't like new rules, and
it's not that I don't like new rules. I don't like the changes that they're making because I think that they're making the game too homogenous.
You also, yeah, but you also didn't like a lot of the stuff that's in Tasha's.
Well, it's just Tasha's is the cauldron of OP. Everything is
OP homebrew.
Yeah,
Everything's psychic damage. Everything is, I want to be a half vampire, half unicorn, half, fairy. And I want to be able to do everything. Oh, okay. Well, just go to Tasha's. You can find something in there that'll allow you to do that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I just think Tasha's is a little too overpowered. I mean, even little things like the Twilight Cleric being able to see 300 feet with dark vision and then give that to someone else. That's just ridiculous. Nobody can see that far. The Drow can't see that far in the dark.
300 feet in darkness? Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
So, I mean, I can see saying, all right, you get 60 feet of darkness, or if you already have dark vision, you get an additional 30 feet. That type of thing.
I think I want to take a much closer look at a lot of this stuff. I mean, I think I saw a few things that could make some interesting stuff, like kobolds. They made them a little more powerful. I think they gave them like their abilities tied to their draconic ancestry. So I thought that was kind of cool. But I gotta definitely look through that. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of fucking cool monsters in this book though too. I mean,
well, I'm actually I just looked at one and I'm like, what the fuck? The Shedder Kai, which are the shadow elves.
Yeah. They live on the plane of shadow.
They were brought there by the Raven Queen. Mm-hmm. They're trance, so you don't need to sleep. Magic can't put you to sleep. You finish a long rest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in a trance-like meditation, during which you retain consciousness, just like an elf. Whenever you finish this trance, you gain 2 proficiencies that you don't have. Each one with a weapon or a tool of your choice selected from the player's handbook.
Yeah, it's because of their attachment to the ethereal plane.
Well, you mystically acquire these proficiencies by drawing them from the shared elven memory.
Yeah.
And retain them until you finish your next long rest.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Hive mind, the Borg.
I think you could do that with the Gith or the Githrazai or something like that too. There's something similar.
They're trying to make it that is an all elf thing, that because the sea elf has the same thing. It's tied to their trance. It'd be like, reliving or touching the elf racial memories or something, and
it's the Eladrin too.
Therefore you can just give yourself a couple of proficiencies you didn't have, and I'm just like, okay, but that's just more. I want more stuff. How can you give it to me? What's the drawback? Oh, there's no drawbacks.
Don't you understand? There's no drawbacks.
Well, I mean, that's like, instead of having racial bonuses and negatives, like, we'll just go with the orcs. Okay, orcs, +2 strength, +1 con. Okay, no, I want to be able to place them anywhere, because I want to be a wizard, so I want a +2 in my intelligence. Well, why can't you just play that orc that doesn't have a bonus to the stat? Just role play it out. So exactly. You can still be an orc, so you'll be a slightly stronger, physically stronger wizard.
And you might not have the higher intelligence because you didn't get that bonus.
Well, you may not start off with the 20 in intelligence, but through leveling up and working on your characteristics, you can eventually get there.
Right.
You just won't start with it.
Right. It's just a harder start, and a lot of people don't want that harder start.
Well, that was one of the things I give Pete credit for. He's playing a halfling wizard. You almost never see those.
I chose that specifically, like, over a gnome, for example. Like, a gnome would have given me like a +2 to intelligence, I think.
Right.
Where a halfling gave me like the +2 to actually the dexterity.
Yep.
And I wanted to have a very dexterous, like, agile wizard. Is like my whole concept is what I want to do. I purposely chose that, like, where at level 1, my dexterity as a wizard was higher than my intelligence. I did that on purpose. And it just so happened the way that I rolled that, like, when I got my stats, that I actually put my highest roll into intelligence, and it still came out less than my second highest, which would have been dexterity that I put towards it because of my racial benefits towards it. I did that purposely because that's what I wanted.
That's what I did with Climbrow.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, Renee playing a dwarven monk. Dwarves don't get a bonus to dexterity, which is one of the monk's biggest things. They also don't get a bonus to wisdom.
Yeah.
No, we get con.
And
Dwarvish Ranger.
yeah, I was going to say the Dwarven Ranger. These are all characters you don't see a lot of.
Mhm.
And I'm really happy to see those types of things because it's a role-playing opportunity.
Right.
That's one of the big things that a lot of people, when they come in, they're like, oh, my stats, I've got a bad stat. Or it's not a bad stat. It's a role-playing opportunity.
Right. That's why there's no such thing as a dump stat anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
there shouldn't be.
Honestly, Ian playing his 7 intelligence was some of the best role-playing that I've seen.
Hilarious.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely phenomenal. He was great at it. And it's not that he didn't look at it as a bad thing. It was a role-playing opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, and he did it brilliantly.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I was like, how often did he have all of us in stitches? It was ridiculous.
Just because of something dumb that he said, and it made perfect sense for his character to say it.
Right, just mispronouncing a word,
I never met a Ganam before.
Oh my god.
Or we were in the mining town, and he's like, "You're serving minor? You can't serve children alcohol." It's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, and that's when I'm like, minors, not minors. It's a great line from Galaxy Quest, but again, the rules are fluid and they can be changed, they can be adjusted. So,
but yes, but as you were saying though, there are some really cool creatures in here though.
Yeah, there's a lot of demons. That it reminded me a lot of the old Fiend Folio because there's just so many demons.
Well, it's because this is a combination of Volos and the Tome of Foes.
Right.
So it's a lot of the creatures from each of those books. And the Tome of Foes was all about the war between the devils and the demons.
Right.
That was a majority of what that book was. And it had some really great lore, but now they've changed all that lore.
Damn them. Damn them all. I like the fact that there's like some of the big bosses in there, like Demogorgon and Orcus and
Baphomet
and Baphomet, or Baphomet.
Yeah, Baphomet, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, some really great like.
But yeah, I like that Orcus is in there.
Yeah, what were those creatures that we fought? That were the voice of Orcus or something like that, or.
Oh no, they weren't the voice of Orcus. They were just the Bodax. They were just
the Bodax. That's
They were just an undead. They have nothing to do with Orcus, actually.
They just so happen to have been in the same facility.
Well, I got the shivers when I saw the picture. Okay.
I got 2 figs.
Oh crap, Bodax. Yeah,
I got 2 figs painted of those now. Got to bring them back.
Well, they were fucking awful.
They're low. They're actually low level for you guys now.
Well, for now, but at the time, we were like 5th level when we fought those things.
Yeah, low
Things
level.
I mean, they
nasty.
one-shotted Lavka.
Yeah, they were nasty.
Oh,
Well,
actually, I guess they
that's like a
recreated
hundred
those because I now see Bodak Legacy and Bodak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because they
It's
are in
sad.
the Monsters of the Multiverse.
Yep. Nasty.
Let's see how they change. Did they change them? That's the Blackguard. Here's Bodak. Let's see. Oh yeah, that is
Awful.
no, it's not nearly as bad. The Withering Gaze is a DC 13 con save, or you take 4d10 necrotic damage. And half as much on a successful one. It's not instant death anymore.
Oh, well, okay. Thank the gods for that. I don't know. I mean, things get nerfed in games a lot, you know?
No. Chris, it is instant death if you fail to save by 5 or more.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the DC 13 says if the saving throw fails by 5 or more, the creature is reduced to 0 hit points unless it's immune for being frightened. Otherwise, it takes 3d10 psychic damage on a failed save.
Oh no, see, that's not the new one. The one from the Monsters of the Multiverse is one creature that the Bodak can see within 60 feet of it must make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw, taking 22, 40, 10 necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much on a damage on a successful one. Period.
Oh.
The Bodak Legendary has the Death Gaze,
Okay.
which has the failed saving throw by 5 or more, and the creature is reduced to 0 hit points, which is what happened to Lauka. She actually missed it by 5.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wasn't
now
that
it does
what the-
more damage by 1d10, but there's no threat of it just reducing you to 0. So they're not nearly as scary as they used to be.
Wasn't that one of the first times one of our players went down and started having to roll death saves too?
I think so.
Yeah, I was
Very
up there.
early on.
Mhm. It was scary.
Well, you have to remember. At
Oh, wait,
the same
here it
time,
is.
I think that.
I'm sorry, it does still have the Death Gaze.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah,
looking at Withering Gaze.
I was making sure I was in the right book. But
Okay, so
yeah,
it does still have that. It's just
Yeah,
I
you-
just saw
but
the
you-
Death Gaze or Withering Gaze as an action.
But you have to
Um,
fail to save by 5 or more. for it
Yeah.
To be instant death. I mean, you have to really
I'm not
blow to save.
surprised.
At
Oh,
the
and that's
same
actually
time-
not an action. That's just always there. Okay. So it is still kind of nasty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bodaks. Yeah, Bodaks are nasty, guys.
But when that was happening to Lauka that time, I think at the same time, Klimbrum was essentially.
I was charmed and beating the shit out of Euchariah.
That's
so
right.
so we had one of our arcane casters go down from full hit points, which I think she had like 50 at the time or so, down to 0, making death saves. At the same time, our monk was charmed and attacking.
And kicking the shit out of us.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, was that before too? Oh yeah. So yes, actually the Bodaks are Bodak is the undying remains of someone who revered Orcus.
Yep. That's why I was like, I think they're Orcus guys.
They are. I didn't realize that.
Big fans of the big Orcus, man.
They are extensions of Orcus's will outside the abyss.
They're gross.
Yeah, so if you ever meet up with Graynor again, then you may run into some more Bodaks.
I don't wanna. Those things were fucking scary. All right. Well,
All right,
so we should probably start wrapping.
Yeah,
things
we
up.
should probably start wrapping things up. It is
So Friday, 7:30, right?
Friday, 7:30. And then
Oh,
Russ and
can't
I will
wait.
be back here tomorrow at 8 to do our Nerds with Alcohol show. So
Yeah, shouldn't be too late. Thankfully, I mean, I think tomorrow. I think it should be more or less a regular night because we should. If we don't have everything squared away by say 6 o'clock, we're fucked. So I was sure to. If I'll try and let you know I'll be sure to let you know if something screwy happens.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, hey, they got the cave fishers in here.
Anything on?
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the alcoholic blood. Kingfishers have alcoholic blood.
Do they?
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, in this
they're
case,
actually,
it's-
cave fishers actually are very valuable. If you kill them, their bodies can be used for all kinds of different things. Apparently, their shells are used in spell components and jewelry. their blood can be distilled into some kind of alcohol. There's some dwarves that drink their blood straight.
Valuable parts. Nearly every part of the cave fisher is useful after the creature has been dispatched.
The webbing.
Cave fisher filaments can be woven into rope that is thin, tough, and nearly invisible. Creature's shell is used in the manufacture of tools, armor, and jewelry. Its blood is alcoholic and tastes like strong liqueur. Several dwarven spirits, including cavefish, include cavefisher blood, and some dwarves, especially berserkers, drink the blood straight. Cavefisher meat is edible, tasting much like crab cooked in strong wine. While some folk hunt cavefishers to kill them and harvest their filaments, shells, and blood, others capture cavefisher eggs and rear hatchlings, which can be trained to guard passages or serve as beasts of war. Cavefishers have a natural aversion to fire since their blood is flammable. As such, Underdark denizens often use the threat of fire when training them.
Fucked up. Yeah. That is, I did not know that until I read that. I'm like, okay. Because cavefishers, they're not a weird or out of the ordinary monster. I mean, they're,
Well, they're kind of weird.
Well,
hi, Trevor.
They're
Underdark.
He's tired and he wants to go to bed.
Hmm.
This is him telling me to go to bed.
All right. Well, we should get out of here. This week, Friday, 7:30, should be a good time.
Be there,
Can't wait.
or
Can't wait.
or don't. It's up to you. I'm not going to tell you.
So
I'm looking forward to it. I needs me a good game.
Yep, and it should be like I said, it should be a good time. It should be. We'll see what happens. We'll see where you guys go. Probably gonna be pretty role play heavy, just based on where you guys are right now. So.
Well, we were in Castle Greyhawk for 7 sessions.
Yeah, I actually went back and looked. You guys were in for 7 episodes.
Wow,
I realized
really?
it was a long time.
Yeah, 33 to 39.
Whew. Yeah.
Well, we did go up a level from it. So
Maybe
more
the
or
hags will
less.
show up to kidnap Klimbram.
I mean, there's a lot to
Maybe.
follow up with right now.
Why you gotta put that
Absolutely.
evil on us, man? That
Like
I've been chasing them for 40 years. I found people that the hags don't like. I'm happy.
And like I feel like right now that the hags as well as that drow that is essentially taunting us, that both are within the city limits within Greyhawk that we're going to be encountering. We have 2 big, and then there's like so much else. Like there's our overall arcing story. There's like my backstory that I've been wanting to like fulfill, but like there's 2 major closures that we actually have to follow up with at this point in time that I think are on top of all the research that we have to do. So yeah, I think that one out of those 2 would be where we're going to end up by the end of the next game. We'll probably be deciding which one we're going to be going after.
well, it's I'm looking forward to it either way. So
Absolutely.
Very much
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
get our game on, guys.
Yep.
Get our game on.
All right.
So, guys, be sure to join us this Friday at 7:30 right here on Drinking Nerds here on Twitch. Tomorrow night, Chris and I will be back with our normal 8 o'clock Nerds with Alcohol show. So
Yeah, like
tune in. Tell
one of
all
the
your
last
friends.
ones before the genre TV blows up this summer.
For real. We've got Ms. Marvel and Obi-Wan starting pretty soon. We've got the Orville starting the new season of the Orville, possibly the last season of the Orville, which will be a big bummer.
They're saying it
That's
is the
case.
last season of the Orville.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan
Umbrella
starts
Academy
on
season
Friday,
3 is
though.
starting.
What's Umbrella Academy, Stranger Things, in a few months too. I mean, in August, right around when a lot of this stuff is changing and or winding down, we'll have She-Hulk starting in August. So, We've got a lot to do. We got a lot to review, Chris.
Yep.
We gotta catch up.
And then we still got Strange New Worlds going on,
Stranger Worlds,
which has
amazing
been
show.
phenomenal. So
Fantastic. So good. Everything that Discovery should have been the first season.
Yep. So,
Although
what were you saying, Pete?
Oh, I was just saying that Obi-Wan starts on Friday, right?
A week from Friday. No, it starts.
Oh, this
yeah,
Friday.
it is this Friday.
27th.
Yeah,
Coming
this
up.
Friday is Obi-Wan and Shorzy.
Oh yeah, that's right, Shorzy. It's already getting good reviews apparently.
Give your balls a tug.
Well, I watched like the preview of it where he's being like interviewed, and
I saw a trailer.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be good. So
It's just going to be interesting to see Shorzy's face
Well,
for the first time. You know?
I do have one recommendation. I don't know if you got. It may have been like you guys may have been a little on the older side to actually watch the show, but on Friday, the Rescue Rangers movie came out.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I watched that and I was geeking out nonstop. I mean, you want like just like 80s, 90s, and early 2000s nostalgia of like anything animation, like watch that
Like,
movie. I highly recommend
Chippendale
it.
Rescue Rangers were a little like they were just a hair before my time.
Oh,
Like
I-
I remember them
So many
specifically
people,
from the video
Yeah,
games that we
I-
played.
people are
Yeah.
saying wonderful things. It's the new Roger
I-
Rabbit. It's the new Who
it-
Framed
it-
Roger Rabbit.
It's got that bit of grittiness to like as Roger Rabbit has, but it's a little bit more lighthearted than Roger Rabbit is. But it's the
Mhm.
same type of world. But all the references that you would get from Roger Rabbit from like the old days of like animation and cartoons, you get that over the last like 20 years
Mhm.
is baked into the Rescue Rangers movie.
Roger Rabbit is like a weirdly dark movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
well, it's
And-
fantastic.
and-
It's
and-
so dark.
It is.
Mhm.
And this one is the same way. Like you have like Monterey Jack, who is like a mouse that is addicted to cheese, and there's like a whole like section of it where like the cheese is essentially like the drugs of the cartoon
mouse.
world,
Yeah.
almost.
That's
they
fucking
dive,
awesome.
They dive into it of like how it can be an addiction, and people like get like in debt to like the mob within the cartoon world, and it's run by Muppets.
Right, and then
I mean, like,
and
how can you not think that that is phenomenal?
isn't
Like,
Peter
Yeah.
isn't Peter Pan like
Peter Pan's the bad guy?
like he's an old guy and he's kind of a bastard, and
Yeah,
I
Peter
hear-
Pan
I
grew
hear-
up and became the bad guy essentially.
I hear there's a lot of great cameos. There's a lot of like great like voices or actors doing
Yes.
voices and stuff. There's a lot of funny shit about like video game references and or like computer animated kind of shit.
Yes.
Like where I can't tell which way or who you're looking at or whatever, stuff like that about
I
the
highly
Uncanny
recommend
Valley.
it because there's a whole section of Uncanny Valley in there.
Mhm.
It like talks about like all the generations of animation from 2D to the early 3D to like the really good 3D.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's still very reminiscent of like what the show was about and the characters. I grew up watching like early morning Disney animation, like the DuckTales and Rescue Rangers and all that, and Darkwing Duck. And this encapsulates it all, but it brings it to the Roger Rabbit level. Like,
Yeah.
it's very meta,
Right.
and it's aware of it. And I think that's a great one. I highly recommend you guys watching it. Though.
I'm gonna
All
check
right,
it
cool.
out.
I will have to check that out. But we do need to get going. We've gone way longer than we normally do for
Of
this.
Yeah,
course.
we do.
So, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for coming out and joining us, guys. All of you,
See you Friday.
thank you. I will see all of you on Friday. Renee, I'll see you in just a few minutes, and Russ, I'll talk to you tomorrow. So I think with that, I'm gonna say good night.
Good night.
Please join us
Good
on
night.
Friday. Hang out with us, and we can we'll play some D&D. Have a good night.
Sounds like a plan.
Good night.
Good night.